Welcome back to problem number 5. You're playing a large online MTT and you're in the second round. Blinds are 15-30 with no ante. You're on the button with 6 of clubs, 6 of hearts. The player under the gun limps, just calls 30. Everyone else folds. Action is now back on you on the button. What do? You have 4 options. A. Fold. B. Call and just limp along. C. Raise to 120. D. Raise to 200. Pause the video now. Think about your decision with pocket sixes on the button. And when you're ready, hit play to see what Ace Solver recommends. All right, welcome back. Looking at the hand evaluation, pocket sixes are playable, but they're not a premium hand. So the key question is, what does a limp from UTG mean? From a strong opponent, an UTG limp usually indicates a medium pair or some Broadway hands like AQ, KQ suited, JT suited, hands they're willing to play, but not necessarily raise in a deep stacked MTT. A strong player will almost never limp a high pocket pair or a hand like KQ suited. Those hands typically raise to thin the field and avoid multi-way pots. But from a weaker opponent, an UTG limp can mean anything. A high pair slow played, a small pair, suited connectors, random suited aces. You simply cannot assign a reliable range to a weak UTG limper. So what should we do? When we open the Analyze and Explain windows, Ace Solver generally prefers raising to isolate the limper. Pocket sixes perform much better heads up than in a multi-way pot. If the blinds fold and UTG calls, we get position with a small SPR, and we have around 30 to 35% equity, which is fine for a raise. However, in real life, since we have no reads on UTG, the player on the button decided to limp along instead. Let's follow that line. The small blind folds and the big blind checks. We go 3-way to the flop. The flop comes King of Hearts, 7 of Diamonds, 3 of Clubs. The big blind checks, UTG checks. Action is back on you. What do? A. Check. B. Bet 55. C. Bet 80. D. Bet 100. Pause the video, think about your continuation strategy, and when you're ready, hit play to see the solver's answer. Okay, welcome back. This flop is not terrible for us, but it's also not great. K7-3. The problem is that there are 2 low cards, the 7 and the 3, that can very easily be in the big blind's range. Why? Because nobody raised preflop. There was no isolation, so the big blind can literally have any 2 cards. Hands like 7-3 are absolutely possible here. For UTG, their range still contains a lot of KX, KT, KJ, KQ, even AK if they decided to get tricky and limp. They can easily check this flop, hoping you will bet. So the big blind checks, UTG checks. What should you do? You should c-bet small and take a stab at the pot. You're trying to win it right now, not build a massive pot with a vulnerable small pair. You definitely don't want to bet big and invite a check raise. So the best strategy is to bet small, around 1/3 to 1/2 pot. When we look at the Analyze and Explain windows, that's exactly what Ace Solver recommends. A small continuation bet for protection and thin value. The stack to pot ratio is around 12, so this is never a spot where we blast big. We just c-bet small and try to fold out at least one opponent, most often the big blind. In real life, you bet 80. The big blind folds, but UTG calls. We go to the turn. The turn is the 3 of spades, pairing the board. UTG checks again. Now what do? Check. B, bet 100. C, bet 200. In this line, you decide to check back and we go to the river. The river is the 10 of hearts. UTG checks once more. Now the final decision. A, check behind. B, bet 100. C, bet 200. Pause the video now. Think about your river play with pocket sixes. And when you're ready, hit play for the solver's solution. Welcome back to the final part of problem number 5. The river comes the 10 of hearts, and this card introduces a few important considerations. First, any 10x now beats you, so if you choose to bet, you risk getting called by a better hand. Second, while hands like 7x, pocket 8s, or pocket 9s already beat your pair of sixes, a bet here will almost never make those hands fold. Those mid-value holdings tend to check call against small or medium bets, especially from a weak UTG limper. We also don't really believe UTG has much 3x in their range. If they held something like ace-3, they likely would have bet the turn when the board paired. Their check makes 3x very unlikely. Now let's look at the Analyze and Explain windows. Ace Solver recommends a check back on the river. Pocket sixes still carry some showdown value, but not enough to justify turning the hand into a bluff. And betting here only gets called by better hands. 10x, kx, or the mid-pocket pairs that already beat you. Since UTG is folding most worse hands and calling with most better hands, a river bet has no value. So the correct play is to check, take your showdown equity, and avoid losing unnecessary chips. You check back, and UTG reveals ace-9 offsuit. Your pair of sixes is good, and you win the pot. Thank you for watching problem number 5, and I'll see you in problem number 6.